Hola amigos, ¿qué tal? Still here from Spain Speaks with an update video today. We'll go through some of the comments from yesterday's video, have a bit of a chat about some of those, keep you up to date on the current situation in Spain and also what's going on in Madrid at the moment. Now firstly, I'm just going to apologize for my voice today. I've got a bit of a frog in the old throat, as they say, so my voice not 100%. Maybe it's got something to do with these changing weather conditions, and as you can see today, it's sunny one minute, cloudy the next, and the temperature has been fluctuating a bit in recent times. So that's what I'm putting my throat problems down to at the moment. Now, of course, as we know, there's been lots of talk in recent times about Madrid, the selective lockdowns in the capital city here in Spain. Lots of people complaining that Spain is too Madrid-centric. I agree with that, but it is, as I said, the capital of the country, and it is where everything happens. And of course, when something happens in Madrid, everybody else around the country knows about it. And of course, the areas in Madrid, the 37 areas in Madrid and surrounding areas that have gone into a selective lockdown, that has been the main topic of conversation in the country in recent days, along with the fact that there seems to be a problem in the health system as well with the amount of doctors in certain areas in Spain, and that's also been one of the main focuses in recent times. Now in today's video we're going to talk to James Blick from the YouTube channel Spain Revealed. He's in one of the lockdown areas of Madrid and he's going to tell us what the situation's like there, what the general feeling amongst the population is. So stay tuned for that at the end of the video. And on the topic of Madrid, it's been announced today that possibly on Friday they're going to announce new restrictions. Not exactly clear what the restrictions are going to be. There is talk about further areas going into a selective lockdown as well. Of course, this all depends on the health situation in those particular neighborhoods. Remember that the criteria that they're using at the moment is something like 1,000 cases per 100,000 inhabitants, and as soon as you hit that 1,000 mark, there is a risk that your area or neighborhood or health area could go into a selective lockdown. But those measures, as I said, are going to be announced on Friday, so we'll wait and see what happens there. There's also talk about limiting the amount of people that can go to bars and restaurants and places like that, bringing it down to a 50% capacity, so something similar to what we had during the phase system here. Not sure whether it was phase 2 or phase 3, but during one of the phase systems here in Spain, there was a 50% capacity in bars and restaurants, outdoor seating areas as well, and things along those lines. So waiting to see what happens on Friday, and of course the next couple of weeks are going to be interesting here in the capital city as well. And of course there are other areas in Spain that are doing it tough at the moment. There are places in Palma de Mallorca that are not going too well. We saw on the map of Spain the other day that there are lots of selective lockdowns going on around the country, places that have gone back to a phase situation. We see places in Murcia. I think the city of Lorca has gone back to a phase situation. So the situation is quite delicate around the country at the moment as those case numbers continue to rise. There's been lots of speculation in recent times that the mortality rate is not as high as it was, and that does seem to be the trend. But yesterday, unfortunately, they recorded 241 deaths, and that's the highest amount of deaths so far in this second wave, as they are calling it here in Spain. So again, we'll keep our eyes on that situation as well. Now, another topic that popped up in the comment section was again about squatters. Seems to be a fairly common topic in the country at the moment. Lots of talk about squatters in the different areas around Spain. I mentioned a couple of weeks ago that according to one newspaper, it's not really a problem, but according to other newspapers, it is a problem. And yesterday, I got some first-hand information from a police officer who's working in the Valencia region, and he told me that the problem of squatters does seem to be growing in that particular part of Spain. He said that one of the big problems with squatters in Spain is that there's groups of people that go around looking for vacant houses, houses that belong to banks, houses that haven't been lived in for a while, and apparently what they do is they break into these houses, change the locks, and then they charge people to move into them. One of the things he told me was that the people that they evicted recently from one of these houses paid something like 250 euros to move into the house, so they paid this money to this group, you can call it a mafia if you like, this organized group that go around looking for these houses, and they get people to move into these places after charging them a fee. So one of the main problems that I can see here is that it is starting to become very organized. He also said that the characteristic of the people that they are evicting is that they're normally drug addicts, people that have financial problems, gambling problems, people that have been marginalized a little bit in society, people with problems, and of course they're desperate for housing. They pay this fee to these groups of people, move into these homes, and of course that's when the problems begin. And this police officer also said that in a couple of the houses that they went to, they also found substantial marijuana crops being grown inside the squatted house. So that is another problem as well. Not only are squatters moving in, but they're using these houses as drug houses as well. So a bit of a complex problem there. Now, we also had a comment on yesterday's video about somebody asking if it is possible to travel from the United States to Spain at the moment for work purposes. Apparently, if you have all of the paperwork in order, the permissions, the residency permits, and things along those lines, you can come to Spain from the States at the moment. As I mentioned yesterday, the Auxiliares de Conversación program is going to start soon, and one person said that his child, son or daughter, can't remember exactly which, is on the way to Spain or has already arrived in Spain in order to take up one of these positions in a school here in Spain. So if you come into Spain to work, there doesn't seem to be a problem. Another question would be, obviously, if you're thinking of coming here on a holiday, I suppose that would be restricted. I don't think that is possible at the moment. So no holidays. But if you're coming here to work, if you've got the contract sorted, if you've got all of the legal things under control, then you shouldn't have a problem to come into the country at the moment. Now, as I said, the situation in Madrid is a bit complicated at the moment from a health point of view with those selective lockdowns. We're going to cross to James Blick, who finds himself in one of these lockdown neighbourhoods. He actually lives in one of these areas. So James, mate, how are you? Can you tell us where you are? And can you give us an idea of what it's like in your neighbourhood at the moment?
Hey guys, it's James here from Spain Revealed. So where am I right now, Stuart? I'm in my neighbourhood of Pueblo Nuevo, my neighbourhood in Madrid. It's in the east of the capital. And it's one of the neighborhoods that has been locked down, one of the 37. And so right where I'm actually standing is right on the border of where I'm allowed to be. So literally each of these 37 zones are not neighborhoods as such. They're kind of sanitary areas that revolve around a health center that are throughout Madrid. So literally I am not allowed to cross that road or cross that road, which is a big pain because one of my favorite tapas bars is on the other side of that road. I can cross if I need to go to work or take kids to school, you know, things like that. But just to go for tapas, I can't do that. So what's it like? It's not that different in a way. Hope you can hear me. People are out and about. It is quieter. It is quieter. The streets are quieter, but it's not like the first lockdown. It's like lockdown light.
So can you also tell us how well the selective lockdown's being implemented? Is there a big police presence in the area?
So how well is it being implemented? Well, not very well, to be honest. I mean, I saw today's Wednesday, we're 3 days into this lockdown, started on Monday. I saw some police on this main street on Monday, but I haven't seen any police since. I haven't been out that much. I've wandered around the neighborhood. My wife did have an appointment. She had to leave the neighborhood. She didn't see police anywhere. She was on the metro. So I'm sure they are, I've seen on the news that they are controlling entry and exit from these areas, probably in very strategic ways, you know, particularly when, you know, at rush hour, maybe in the morning, things like that. But the police can't even fine you currently because they don't have the legal authority to do that. So it really is a lockdown light, and I feel like it's the first step towards more measures that will come into place. So kind of life as normal, which is strange.
And what about the locals? How are they getting on? I heard that there's been a few protests. Are people fed up with the situation there?
Yeah, there have been some protests. I think when we had our first lockdown in Madrid, you know, back in March, throughout the whole country, there was a lot of support for what was happening. And I think what's happened now is with these selective lockdowns, it's just kind of unclear. People aren't sure kind of what it means if you're in lockdown, how you're in lockdown. It's all, the communication hasn't been very good. And also one of the critiques from a lot of the protests is that by the neighborhoods that are being selectively locked down are ones that have a higher contagion rate. But they are more likely to be working class neighborhoods. So there's been critique that this is effectively an act of kind of segregation. And by sending in the police, they should actually be sending in health workers. It's very police-driven, kind of locking down area, you know, poorer areas, rather than saying, well, actually, we need to get the health situation under control. So there's critiques that this is not being handled well, that it's dividing the population, which will divide goodwill. There's a meme going around, which is like, you know, if I'm in my working class neighborhood, I can't go for a beer in this neighborhood, but I can go and serve a wealthier person a beer in their neighborhood. So there's been critique about that, definitely, and protests around that.
So tell us, James, what was it like leading up to the current situation? Did you see that you were heading in that direction?
Yeah, I think we could all see this coming in a way. You know, Spain was very quick to open up to tourism in August to try and save that side of the economy. And so the contagion rates have really been shooting up, particularly in Madrid. And so I feel like something was going to happen. The local government here in Madrid has been criticized for acting too slowly, that they should have been acting weeks ago. But we could feel something coming, and that lockdown was coming of some sort.
And finally, James, what do you think is going to happen in future weeks regarding further restrictions?
Yeah, look, I think there's more extensive lockdowns coming throughout Madrid. So the 37 neighborhoods that have been locked down are neighborhoods that have an incidence of infection. It's 1,000 infections per 100,000 people in the population. And so there's another 16 or so that over the last few days have shot above that as well, that aren't locked down yet. So I think we're going to see more extensive lockdowns. And also the head of the Madrid regional government met with the head of Spain the other day with the president, and there's a sense that the national government is going to start to sort of control things a little bit, that they've lost a little confidence in the local government. And so I think that the national government is starting to put pressure on the local government to take more drastic measures, because the rates really are shooting up, and it's not good for the health of the people. It's not a good look for Madrid. It's not a good look for Spain. And so I think that the local government has been a little slow because they've been trying to protect the businesses, but I think they've left it too long. And so I suspect by next Monday, at the very latest, we'll see more parts of Madrid in lockdown. So yeah, but of course, I'm crystal balling, who knows?
So there you go, that was James Blick on the ground in central Madrid. And if you don't know James's channel, check it out. It's called Spain Revealed, and it's all about helping curious travelers experience Spanish food and culture like a local. So check out James's channel. There's a link in the description below. On that note, I'll start to wrap the video up. Questions and comments, please leave them in the section below. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. Debate the situation out as you normally do. See you in the next one. Hasta luego.